Hello everyone, my name is Aiza Adliana binti Ahmad. I'm going to start this presentation with the introduction of Israel-Palestinian conflict, a long-standing problem that's been around since 1948. Okay, back then, Israel was created, which was a big deal for Jewish people, but for Palestinians, it meant they had to leave their homes and land. They called this time the Nakba, which means disaster. In 1967, things got worse with the Six-Day War. Israel said they had the right to be there because of their history and religion. On the other hand, Palestinians demand recognition of their rights, their dignity, and humanity. But beyond the politics, there's a real pain. It's the story of families torn apart, of lives shattered by violence and loss. It's the anguish of a mother grieving for her child, regardless of nationality or religion. It's the shared yearning for peace, for security, for a better future. So, where do we go from here? How do we navigate through this maze of history, religion, and politics to find a path toward reconciliation and peace? The answer lies in empathy, in understanding, in seeing the world through the eyes of others. It's about recognizing the humanity of all those affected by this conflict. It's about listening to their stories, their hopes, their fears, and finding common ground amidst the discord. So, as we embark on this journey together, let us approach it with humility and compassion. Let us be the architects of peace, building bridges across divides, forging connections where there were once only barriers.
Now we will see on the history of Israel-Palestinian conflict. So the conflict between Israel and Palestine actually originated in the late 19th century, culminating in the creation of Israel in 1948 following the United Nations partition plan for British-minded Palestine. So subsequent wars, including the Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973, further shaped the dynamics of the conflict, leading to territorial gains for Israel and ongoing tensions with neighboring Arab states. Efforts to achieve peace, such as the Oslo Accords in 1990s, aim to address Palestinian self-determination, but ultimately faltered. This leads to continued violence and unrest, including the first and the second intifadas. So factionalism among Palestinians, exemplified by the rise of Hamas in Gaza, further complicated efforts towards reconciliation. Next, recent escalations, including conflicts in 2014 and 2021, as well as the establishment of a far-right government in Israel and renewed violence in 2023, have intensified the humanitarian crisis and security challenges in the region, underscoring the urgent need for a resolution to the long-standing conflict. So that is all from me.
My name is Ayn Hadisa, and I'll be resuming on the history of Israel-Palestine conflicts. In the aftermath of recent conflicts, Gaza has faced severe humanitarian challenges, including shortages of essential goods, attacks on medical facilities, and displacement of civilians. Regional dynamics, particularly concerns of neighboring countries like Egypt and Jordan regarding security and refugee populations, have added complexity to peace efforts. Despite international mediation and ceasefire agreements, the root causes of the conflict, including territorial disputes, political divisions, and unresolved grievances, continue to fuel tensions and violence, highlighting the enduring nature of the Israel-Palestine conflict and the need for a comprehensive and sustainable solutions.
Hi, I'm Wonder Alicia, and I will present about the factors of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Let's go to the first factor, which is about the historical factor. The establishment of the State of Israel in 1948 marked a momentous occasion celebrated by Israelis as Independence Day, but lamented by Palestinians as Al-Nakba or the catastrophe. This divergence in perspective underscores the deep-rooted conflict between the two sides. stemming from the events surrounding British colonial control and the subsequent United Nations partition plan. The aftermath of the 1948 war saw significant displacement of Palestinians from areas under Israeli control, while Jewish refugees found sanctuary in Israel under the law of return. This unresolved issue continue to fuel the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, hindering effort towards reconciliation and lasting peace of both sides grapple with their respective narrative and historical grievances. So the next factor which leading to the Israeli and Palestinian conflict is through political history. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is deeply rooted in political complexities, particularly concerning the governance of the Gaza Strip. Following Israeli dominance over Gaza after the 1976 Six-Day War, the territory became a focal point due to its strategic significance and historical importance. Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon 2005 Gaza disengagement plan aimed at reducing tension and transferring authority to the Palestinian Authority led to a power struggle between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority. This internal strife, coupled with the blockade imposed by Israel and Egypt after Hamas takeover, exacerbated social and economic hardship for Gazans and intensified the conflict. The control and ownership of Gaza, alongside territorial dispute, have profound social and economic implications for both Israelis and Palestinians, underscoring the intricate nature of the conflict.
Last but not least, the third factor, which is economical factor, Israeli authorities have systematically deprived Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza Strip of land ownership and access to water resources through complex measures and law. It is estimated that Israel had appropriated 68% of the West Bank and 40% of Gaza Strip by the time Palestinians were granted limited self-governing rights. Palestinians in the West Bank utilize only a small fraction of the available water, with the majority being used by Israeli settlers and within Israel. Israeli measures include establishing Jewish settlement on confiscated land and dividing territories into closed military zones. By 1991, there were at least 156 settlements in the West Bank and 18 in Gaza, with a population of 250,000.
Hello everyone, my name is Nur Atira binti Muhammad Zain. I am going to present about the implications from further issues in the context of economic, political and social implications. First of all, political implications. Israeli settlement expansions and security policies in occupied territories often attract international condemnation, impacting diplomatic relations and Israel's global image negatively. Conversely, Palestinian political fragmentation between Hamas in Gaza and the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank complicates their international engagement, weakening their stance in peace negotiations. Additionally, regional dynamics like the Abraham Accords shift alliances and can isolate Palestinian groups, that influencing broader Middle Eastern geopolitics and complicating peace efforts. For second implications, recurrent conflicts between Israel and Palestinian factions cause extensive damage to infrastructure, that leading to high-risk construction costs and economic instability. These conflicts disrupt local economies, damage businesses and impact agriculture, while the Israeli blockade on Gaza hinders constructions and exacerbates economic hardships. This ongoing instability deters foreign investment and forces dependency on international aid, hindering sustainable economic growth. The last one, for social implications, persistent conflict disrupt education in both Israeli and Palestinian areas, that impacting children and young adults by closing schools and damaging facilities. This disruption hampers educational attainment, that affecting future career opportunities and perpetuating poverty. Psychological impacts from constant conflict and insecurity also affect learning and community well-being, that threatening social cohesion and complicating peace efforts. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. I will continue with the recommendation. This conflict, which has persisted for decades, requires a multifaceted approach that includes international mediation, engagement of civil societies, and long-term development initiatives. Firstly, international mediation plays a crucial role in facilitating dialogue and negotiation between conflicting parties. Impartial third-party actors, such as regional power like Egypt and Jordan, and international entities like the United States and the United Nations, which can bring credibility and expertise to the negotiation process. By upholding principles of fairness and impartiality, these mediators create an environment conducive to constructive dialogue and compromise. Secondly is civil society's engagement. Civil society engagement is essential for fostering grassroots movement, promoting dialogue, and advocating for marginalized voices. Civil society organizations, ranging from grassroots initiatives to NGOs and community-based groups, create space for people-to-people interaction, cultural exchange, and reconciliation at the local level. By mobilizing grassroots support and social capital, civil societies contribute to building a culture of coexistence and tolerance among communities on both sides of the conflict. Lastly is the long-term development initiative address the underlying socio-economic disparities and structural inequalities that fuel the conflict. Investment in infrastructure, education, and vocational training empower individuals and communities, fostering stability and prosperity. Additionally, efforts to promote economic integration and cooperation between the Israel and Palestinian create a mutual economic benefit and incentivize the cooperation. Thank you, that's all from me.
To conclude, the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians has deep historical, political, and socio-economic roots dating back to the establishment of Israel in 1948. It involves territorial disputes, governance struggles, and international interventions. Presently, there's a pressing humanitarian crisis, economic disparities, and political fragmentation, necessitating renewed diplomatic efforts and meaningful dialogue. Despite the challenges, there's hope for peace through bold leadership and international commitment. The international community shall pave the way for a brighter future for peace, security, and prosperity for Israelis and Palestinians. So that's all from us. Thank you so much.